Get ready for an inspiring story of hard work, dedication, and perseverance as we chat with rising NFL prospect Cole Coleman. Join us on this next episode of the Get Your Ass Up podcast and discover how Cole is he's one step away from his dream job of working in the NFL and making his mark. Don't miss this one. Welcome to the Get Your Ass Up podcast. I'm Tony, the closer. I'm here to inspire and motivate you to never give up on your dreams. As a former NFL athlete who overcame personal setbacks like going to jail and bankruptcy, I turned my life around to become one of the top salesmen in the world. In this podcast, we'll feature celebrity guests, successful entrepreneurs, and my incredible network to give you real-world advice on how to achieve success in all aspects of life. Whether you're looking to build a successful business, achieve financial freedom, or simply need some motivation to keep pushing forward, we've got you covered. Man, we've had amazing celebrity guests on here like Dame Dash, T.I., my boy Joe Hayden and Edgerrin James, Andre Berto, and more, sharing their stories and insights on how to reach their full potential. Listen, so are you ready to get your ass up and achieve your dreams? Hit that subscribe button right now so you never miss an episode of the Get Your Ass Up podcast with me, your boy Tony the Closer. Let's dive in. Let's change your life together. Let's go. Welcome back to the Get Your Ass Up podcast. I'm your host, Tony the Closer, and today we have a special guest with us. He's an incredible talent and an inspiring journey. Elon University defensive back and NFL prospect Cole Coleman. We'll be discussing the college career, pro day performance, and his journey as he prepares for the NFL draft. So sit back and relax, and let's dive right into Cole's amazing story. Let's go. All right, everybody, welcome back to the Get Your Ass Up podcast, where we bring you inspiring stories from people who are doing amazing things. Today, we are bringing in a special guest, my guy Cole Coleman from Elon University. He's been making a lot of noise recently with an impressive pro day where he broke under 4.4, like a 4.3 blazing 40. And most of you who may be new to me, but you might not be new to me, I played a little football myself. And coming out of a small school, I know one of the things that's really, really important is having visibility and getting eyeballs on you. And obviously, like his phenomenal speed that he put on display at the pro day got my attention and got a bunch of scouts' attention. And I wanted to make sure that this guy had a platform that could give him another chance and to be heard and to see what he's got going on. So welcome to the show, brother. How you doing?
Appreciate that, boss, man. I'm feeling good right now. It's just another day leading up to the draft, so I can't complain. I'm enjoying the process so far.
So tell me, man, you go out here to the pro day and you just did something crazy. You ran, 4.3, 4.2? I've heard all kind of numbers. Like, what was your actual time for the pro day?
So, there's definitely a bunch of numbers floating around because, every scout has their own watch. I've heard the 4.2s, I've heard the 4.3s, this, that, and the other. My official time as we have it now is a 4.37. So, that's about as fast as you're going to get for a safety, especially in this class. And, I'm taking that head on. I knew I was going to get a fast time, but I didn't even PR, to be honest with you. So we'll see what happens next.
So you come out and you run this blazing time, 4.2, 4.3, depending on who clocked you. What did that feel like? Because I know for me, man, coming out leading into the draft, we all put all our stock in the 40. We know how important the 40 is because you could be a baller, but if you're not getting eyeballs on you, that's a way to quickly get the attention of any NFL executive. So leading into your pro day, were you confident that you were going to run that type of 40?
Yeah, going into my pro day, I was extremely confident I was going to run a really fast 40. I've been working on it for the past 2 or 3 months, and I've always been a fast player, but I had never taken the time, obviously, to work on the 40-yard dash because that's not real football at the end of the day. But going into the pro day, I knew exactly what my plan was. I was going to go out there and I was going to turn heads, and I didn't even hit the goals that I wanted to in terms of the 40. I was close, but I definitely did enough to separate myself from the competition and get some eyes on me that I didn't know that, hadn't necessarily tuned in beforehand.
Yeah, man. Once again, I was like, damn, who is this guy, man? He's out here blazing. You know, obviously you got a bunch of attention. You got posted all over social media. And recently, man, as I've been doing my research, I've been hearing some things about you, bro. I heard that the Indianapolis Colts, they got their eye on you, right? There's a bunch of NFL teams that have now had a bunch of interest in you since your actual pro day. What's that been like?
Yeah, it's been an interesting experience because on one hand, you hear a lot of reports coming out about teams that are interested in you, but on the other hand, you don't necessarily even hear the calls or get the attention, and you get to see a lot of other people that have that same sort of attention. So it's like a bunch of mind games. And what I've done recently is just kind of put the blinders on, not worried about the social media or the teams giving me attention, and I'm just letting my film speak for itself. And all I need is one team to believe in me. So at the end of the day, I'm kind of just waiting on that call, and that's how I've been going about it the past few days.
Who's your favorite team? Did you grow up as a football fan? Do you have a favorite team?
Oh, huge football fan. I mean, I grew up in a football family. My dad played for the Tennessee Titans, so I grew up as a huge Tennessee Titans fan.
Hold on, what? Your dad
Yeah,
played for the Titans?
yeah, he played receiver for the Titans.
Oh, shoot. So you got an NFL pedigree, man. I thought I was doing my research, but it was a little bit that I didn't see on the plate. So, okay, you got a little bit of a pedigree that comes with you, huh?
Yeah, a little something, something. He played with Torrey Holt at NC State, and Jamie Barnett was his quarterback, and he went from there to the Tennessee Titans, and also spent some time in the NFL Europe and the CFL as well. So I've always been a football guy, and I come from a football family. So
That's interesting. I actually played in NFL Europe. I wonder if I know your daddy, man. I might know your damn daddy. That's crazy. That's dope, man. So you've obviously been around the game. Your dad's been in the game. That's super dope. What's the process been like having your dad? And what tips has he given you to kind of make this process easier for you?
yeah, he's given me a lot of invaluable information. Like just he's been through the entire process before, maybe from a little bit of a different perspective since he came out of NC State, but he obviously knows the ins and outs of the game. And I think the biggest stuff that he's given me is like financial advice, because a lot of guys will come out here and blow the cash immediately, or a lot of guys will think that it's a glorious, luxurious lifestyle. And just seeing how he's went about it and the things he's told me, I've gotten a lot of insight into what it actually looks like, not only from a football perspective and from an X's and O's point of view, but also from what the GMs and executives are thinking in a financial perspective as well.
Who faster, you or your daddy?
Oh, I'll cook him in a 40. But I'll give him the 3-cone in the L drill. He probably got me on that. The receivers got a little bit of an advantage around that last cone, but in a 40, yeah, he couldn't mess with me in a 40 in his best day.
Oh, so you blazing with Pops on the 40?
Yeah, he was a possession guy. He won't running like that. Not like I am.
So all right, your dad's a possession receiver. So games on the line, 3rd down and 12. You versus Pop. What's going down? Is he about to? Is he gonna route you and make the play, or you gonna knock the pass down?
I'm not gonna lie to you. I used to joke on him and be like, "Yo, man, you old." But recently, I've actually taken a look at his film, and I ain't gonna lie, he was like that. He was nice, but I'm gonna always bet on myself. The DB mentality, like 3rd and 12. That's no offense wants to be in that 3rd and 12. I'm taking myself any day of the week, unless he got Aaron Rodgers. He's getting shut down.
That's what's up. I love the confidence. So, obviously, like, you got an amazing time. Let's talk about early childhood, growing up. Was football something that was your first love? What was it like growing up? You got your dad that was obviously involved in the sports. Was this something that you knew from the beginning? Hey, football is my passion and what I'm going to focus on, or was it other sports?
Yeah, I mean, football's always kind of just been there for me. Like before I even knew who I was as a man, I knew who I was as a football player. So it was my first passion. It was the first thing I just poured myself into and gave everything to. Invested, hours and hours and hours of my life into it. And just growing up, I've always just had football there. I've never missed a season, and I've actually started every season I played. So I've always been on the field. I always had a winning season. I've only had one losing season in my whole career. So it's always been, a part of my life and a part of who I am as a man.
So tell me, like, discuss to me, like, your father's NFL career and how that actually influenced you. Was that a big influence on you, wanting to even make it to the league even more? Like, how did that impact you?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think it's always been something that I've tried to like block out and not necessarily, let that be my story. But I think it's always planting a seed in the back of my mind, like, hey, this is the pinnacle that somebody's already reached. And what can you do to beat that? What can you do to prove yourself? And I've always had to create my own lane aside from my dad's name, because he's obviously, what you're gonna think of first when you think of me as a football player. It's like, okay, well, his dad went to the league. Well, this is what he is. And I've had to work really hard and hone my game, and I'm still working on my craft to the point where I'm separating myself and writing my own story as a football player, separated from anything that my dad's accomplished in the past.
I noticed that a lot of kids feel like they don't want to be associated in a sense. Like they don't want to be under the shadow of the parent. Like the parent, definitely when the parent has like, for example, like Michael Jordan or one, like if you're Michael Jordan's kid or somebody that's been successful, it's like a major pressure of being that person's child and living under their shadow. Do you feel any of that pressure? Do you feel like, you're kind of trying to like carve your own lane while trying to like almost like be away from your dad's career per se?
I think at some point I did feel that pressure just because family and friends that like when you tell them about yourself and they hear things about you, it's like they're always going to compare it to that immediately. But I think I've gotten to a point where I've already kind of separated myself, taking a different lane, and my path looks at this point in my life looks completely different than my dad's path, and my expectations should be based completely off of what I've done as opposed to what he's been able to do. So, coming out of high school, I had one offer. It's a much different situation than my dad, who had 35, Power Five offers.
Wow.
Coming out of high school. So I think, I've done my work to carve my own lane and make it my own way. So I would say at some point, yeah, I definitely felt that pressure. But at this point now, I think I'm writing my own story, and I've kind of taken things into my own hands. And my dad's just a supporting character in the story that I've been able to write.
That's dope, man. So I know you go to Elon University, right? Tell me about playing at Elon University and any like moments that you say might be standout moments from your actual career.
Yeah, I mean, I had a ton of them. Elon was a dope place, and for a couple of reasons. One, they don't care about football. So for me, I grew up in North Carolina, and it's not Texas or nothing, but they care. Like football is big in North Carolina, and Elon has a demographic where it's in North Carolina, but a lot of the people are from up north. So the student population really does not care about football that way. So it was a humbling experience to get player of the week and then get All-American and then go to class the next day and like nobody knows what's going on. Like nobody knows. Like it's just another day in the life. So I feel like a lot of these guys come into the situation with a huge ego inflated by their schools and their careers and living like celebrities. And really, I'm just a regular Elon student, Elon graduate who just happens to be really good at football. And I think that's going to go a long way for me moving forward. But a standout moment for me, my freshman year, we went into James Madison Stadium and we were like the 36-point underdog. And I remember a lot of the seniors, they had been there for a long, long time and had a lot of losing seasons. This was their first year where they were like really making some noise. And we went in there as a 35-point underdog and beat James Madison on our home field. And just to see like the elation on those guys' face, knowing what they had to go through, because I wasn't there for all the struggles. I wasn't there for all the losing seasons, but just to see how they felt about that and, everything that they went through to get to that point, I think that was probably my greatest moment because those guys made a big impact on my career and they helped me a lot during my freshman year.
That's dope. So let's discuss some of these accomplishments, man. Bro, you had 281 tackles, like 9.5 tackles for a loss, 4 forced fumbles, 3 interceptions, 9 PBUs. Bro, you seemed like you was ball hawking and all over the field. DB, huh?
Yeah, I mean, that's the name of the game for me, speed and aggression. And I brand myself as a weapon on defense more so than a defensive player.
Okay. All right. So look, Chris, man, we got to talk about your pro day, man. What was that experience like being at the pro day, running this 4.37, seeing all the scouts? I know, obviously, you did your pro day. It wasn't at Elon, or was it somewhere else? Was it NC State? Where did you do your pro day?
NC State to do my pro day there.
So I obviously kind of familiar with like coming from a school where you're not going to traditionally have a bunch of scouts that come. Talk about going to actually NC State for the pro day. The thoughts going there. Obviously, it's a foreign territory per se because it's not your home field. Seeing all the scouts and everything there. How does that make you feel indifference when you play and you feel like most of the time that you could be just as good as some of the guys that are getting the eyeballs and the visibility because the scouts are showing up to when you can go to Elon, you might not even have scouts come to the actual pro day.
Yeah, man, it was an interesting experience for me overall because, like you said, it's a foreign territory, but at the same time, it felt kind of like home to me because I'm born and raised in Raleigh, North Carolina, and both my parents went to NC State, so that's somewhere that I'm not, completely new to. But at the same time, they didn't offer me. I never got an offer from NC State. I've never gotten a chance to practice on their field and work out in front of scouts on that field. So for me, I felt like that was a chip on my shoulder. Like I just showed up there, and from the moment I walked on the field, I was locked in. I had something to prove, and I went out there and proved it in front of everybody. As opposed to any of the NC State guys, I would take myself in the day that I had over anybody that was on that field that touched that turf at any point in that day.
After you ran that fast ass time, what did the scouts say to you? Because I know they came and asked you some questions after that, right?
Yeah, what really surprised me, man, is the main question I got was like, "Yo, who are you?" Like a lot of the scouts had like I personally I didn't know that I was that under the radar because like I had a All American season, multiple All Conference seasons, Player of the Week this, Player of the Week that, and in a prestigious conference in the FCS. And the scouts really had no idea who I was. It was like real basic questions like, "Yo, who are you? How many games did you start your senior year? Like, how many games did I start my senior year? Like, I started 10 of them my freshman year. What are we talking about here?" But it was, yeah, just real basic questions were the things that the scouts were asking me, just things to try to get to know me. And I think, if anything, I caught their attention and made them go back to the film.
Yeah. How does that make you feel, though, man? Like, man, to me personally, that shit sucked knowing like you could be out here balling, putting up, great stats week in and week out, player of the week. Because, man, that was me. I'm in the CIAA. Man, I'm 25 times player of the week. I'm All-American, Daktronics All-American, AP all these different things. But it seems like nobody still knows that you even exist. How does that make you feel?
Yeah, to me, it was kind of just like a shock. Like it's a wake up call because if you're not putting up the numbers in terms of your pro day and that opportunity that you get, like it doesn't matter how good of a player you are and how good of a player you've been. At this point, we're no longer, the football players that we were in college. We're whatever that number says we are on that 40. And if that's not good enough, or the bench ain't good enough, or the shuttle ain't good enough, that film that you and all the accolades that you did and everything you did in your past don't even matter. So I'm just in a blessed position to have been able to turn their attention to that, and hopefully now my film that they'll actually watch it will speak for itself.
I know when I first reached out to you, you told me you were a DB, right? Like, so let's talk about your versatility and like talk about how can we play with you on the field? Like, where can we use you? What's your best skill set?
I think a better question is what can't I play on the field? Like I said, I consider myself, like when I think of who I am as a player, I consider myself a defensive weapon. So it's going to be any D coordinator's blessing and curse to have to figure out what to do with me and how to attack offenses with me. And it's going to be a curse for any offense to have to figure out how they're going to stop me from creating havoc on the field. So if you want to put me in the nickel, I can blitz, I can cover tight ends, I can cover slots. If you want to put me at high safety, I can cover the middle third. I can cover the free roamer. If you want to put me at down in the box safety, I can stop the run as well. But like you said, 281 tackles, I've done plenty of that in my career as well. So I played every position in college, and I assume I'll be playing a couple in the league, including special teams. So, I mean, the versatility speaks for itself, and what I've done on the field will continue to speak for itself.
Bro, I love to hear, like, it sounds like you got a lot of dog in you, man. Let's talk about, like, you being considered a sleeper or an underdog, right? And how you've actually worked to overcome, like, any size concerns or anything like that.
Yeah, so the main thing I do to overcome any size concerns that people have had about me is just put up numbers. I mean, there's only so much you can do. They're always going to have that asterisk, but when you go out there and prove it, when you're guarding a 6'4" receiver and there's a jump ball situation, how are you going to react? What can you say about size when it's a PBU at the end of the day? What can you say about size when I'm tackling a 225-pound, 230-pound running back? So, the asterisk is always going to be there. It's always going to be something that looms over my head. But at the end of the day, a team's going to take me regardless of the size. And whatever team sees through that is going to be the team that gets their money's worth and then some.
All right, so the NFL draft is approaching. Like, how are you handling, like, the attention from the teams? Like, I seen the Colts and the Bengals might have been, like, really interested in you. Like, what's your prep, like, leading into the draft? and like really like locking in on what you're going to be doing?
Yeah, going into the draft, I just want to make sure my body and mind is right for OTAs. I don't have a specific, regimen or anything I'm doing special for teams. I'll hear what they got to say, but at the end of the day, if they truly believe in me, take me in the draft. And if I don't get taken in the draft, then we'll hear from them right after, and I'll get to make the decision. But there's no magic special, thing for me to do here at this point. I'm just going to let what I've done speak for itself and be ready to do more.
Like, what are your hopes and expectations for draft day and then like your future in the NFL?
Yeah, I think everybody wants to get drafted. That would be, life changing. I know, my dad, I told him when I was really young, like, look, Dad, you ain't get drafted, but I'm gonna get drafted. And, I love to stay true to that and be able to come through on that promise to him. But for me, I don't want to go into it with super set expectations. It's just my expectation is to be in a position to make an NFL team and be on a roster following the draft. So as soon as that happens, it's showtime for there. All bets are off, and everything's on the table. Everybody, it's a clean slate for me wherever I'm at.
All right, Chris. Hey, look,
I'm in.
Cole. Look, I'm an NFL GM right now. Okay.
Okay.
Tell me why I should have you. Why should I draft you with my pick?
Yeah, it's easy sell in my opinion. You look at, I'm going to be a late round guy regardless of how you slice it. So you look at risk management and upside when you talk about late round picks. I'm a safe pick because of the baseline and speed I got, the football IQ, and the experience that I bring to the table, as well as the fact that I'm able to play any special teams you want me to. If I can play any special teams, I can't be a bust in the late round because you're getting the use out of that. Then you look at the potential upside of a player who runs a 4.37 and has the aggression and speed to be able to wreck offenses. I think that speaks for itself. I can be a game changer, but at the very worst, with a team, if there's no fit there in terms of what a GM sees in me, you're going to get somebody who's productive on special teams and gives it everything they got on a daily basis.
I love it. Hey, man, give me some advice for young aspiring football players, like people that might be, following your footsteps and seeing like the path that you've taken. Give us some advice or some game that you would say, hey, man, if you're going to make it, this is what you need to do.
Okay, yeah. The biggest game I can give anybody, the main thing I give to guys that are coming out of high school, trying to find colleges or struggling with that, because personally, I only had one offer. I had one offer come out of high school, and it was Elon. And they took a shot on me, and the rest is history, So my biggest advice is, look, you can only accept one offer. It don't matter how many you can get a million of them. Those guys that got much bigger offers than me coming out and that took much bigger offers than me coming out and that are sitting on the couch and about to watch me play. So at the end of the day, follow your dreams. You can only take one offer, and the team that really believes in you is going to end up being the best team, the best fit for you at the end of the day. And I found that in Elon, and you can find it, in any number of schools, but you don't have to write your story at the biggest stage. You don't have to compare yourself to other people because at the end of the day, it's your story to write.
That's dope. Hey, man, listen, man, I appreciate you coming on the Get Your Ass Up podcast. Good luck to you in the NFL draft upcoming. This is one of the dope, inspiring stories, man. And I wanted to highlight this young man because, first and foremost, when you come out of small schools, you're going up against everything. You heard what he said. He had a phenomenal career, and the scouts were still unaware that he even existed. And I think it's important to have and use platforms to be able to uplift and give these guys an opportunity to be heard and seen on a greater scale. So, hey, Mr. Coleman, brother, I appreciate you joining, man. We really looking forward to seeing you, man, whether it's draft day, the app right after the draft, or whenever you get your opportunity, you go seize the moment, man. For me personally, my draft day story was I watched every damn person get picked. I watched every person go and get signed. I got signed 6 months later. Took me 6 months to get into the league, and that was okay with me. But what you need to understand is not where you are right now, what you're coming through. It's about making sure you understand what your why is and fighting for what you say that you want out of life. And football ended up being so rewarding for me because it taught me the discipline and having accountability and so many things that I now leverage in life to this day. So I'm looking forward to seeing your success, man. Super excited for you and your family. That's a dope story, man. You got you in there. You coming out of Elon, putting up those type of numbers, bro, mad respect. And I know most DBs don't like to tackle. So you coming in the box with 200-plus tackles, that means that you're not afraid to get dirty. So it's a GM out there that's going to get lucky to have you on their roster. Looking forward to seeing you make it into a roster, man. I'm cheering you on. Appreciate you joining the podcast, bro.
Appreciate that, boss, man. It's been a pleasure to be here, for real.
All right, that's a wrap. Hey everybody, if you enjoyed this episode with my man Coleman, be sure to subscribe to the Get Your Ass Up podcast for more inspiring stories and valuable insights from our incredible guests. We're in the top 25 right now on Apple Podcasts, and with your help, we can reach even greater. Right now, we're at number 7, and I want you guys to all make sure that you go do me a favor right now. Subscribe to the podcast. Be sure that you comment, and make sure that you give me a 5-star review. You guys are tremendous, and you've helped me grow so much. I want to thank you guys all so much for tuning into today's episode. Thanks for tuning in. Let's continue to get our asses up, and let's continue to make things happen. Let's go. That's a wrap for today's episode of the Get Your Ass Up podcast. Thank you so much for joining me in this journey of learning, growth, and self-improvement. I hope you found value in our discussion and feel inspired to apply the insights we've shared to your own life. If you enjoyed the show, please don't forget to subscribe, leave a 5-star review, and share it with your friends and family. We're committed to providing you valuable content to our listeners, and your support continues to help the growth, and I want to over-deliver on that promise. I'm your host, Tony the Closer, and I want to remind you to never stop striving for greatness. Keep pushing yourself. Never give up. And remember that we're all in this together. Stay tuned for more empowering episodes continuing our way to success. Until next time, keep moving forward, and remember, get your ass up and make that shit happen.